Your paycheck arrived, but 3 days later the balance already feels wrong. You are not here for another perfect budget that collapses by Friday. By the end of this video, you will know the 5 leaks most likely to drain the first week after payday, how to measure each one, and the exact 7-day reset you can begin tonight. Picture the moment clearly. It is Monday morning and the account finally looks healthy. By Thursday, delivery, a renewal, 2 small upgrades, and 1 forgotten bill have taken their share. Nothing looked reckless in isolation. That is why the loss feels mysterious. The problem is not one dramatic purchase. It is a sequence that becomes visible only when the charges are placed side by side. We are going to inspect 5 different leaks: convenience spending, silent subscriptions, frictionless extras, payday reward spending, and predictable costs treated like surprises. Each leak needs a different repair. Calling all of them overspending is too vague. A useful diagnosis names the trigger, the amount, and the boundary that should appear before the next charge. Open your banking app or a blank note. Do not build a monthly spreadsheet yet. Write the last 5 purchases you can remember and add the reason beside each one: planned, convenient, automatic, emotional, or unavoidable. This first list is only a flashlight. It shows where to look without turning tonight into an accounting project. Leak 1 is the convenience premium. You are not only buying food, transport, or a product, you are paying to remove delay, preparation, or discomfort. Delivery fees, rush shipping, ride-hailing, and ready-made meals can all be reasonable. The leak begins when convenience becomes the default response to a predictable part of the day. Suppose dinner ingredients would cost $12, takeout would cost $22, and delivery turns the same meal into $30 after fees and tip. The important number is not 30. It is the extra 18 paid, because no decision existed before hunger arrived. Repeat that twice a week, and the monthly convenience premium becomes visible without declaring delivery morally wrong. Repair this leak with 1 advanced decision. Choose the 2 evenings most likely to become expensive and assign each a default meal, pickup option, or delivery ceiling before noon. The rule must answer the tired version of you. A plan that requires enthusiasm at 7 in the evening is not a plan. It is a hope with a grocery list. Do not compare the delivery total with 0. Compare it with the realistic alternative you would actually use. If pickup costs $22 and delivery costs $30, the convenience premium is $8, not $30. Accurate comparison prevents the review from becoming punishment and lets you decide when $8 is worth buying back your time. Leak 2 is the silent renewal. A subscription is easy to start because the benefit is visible and the future charge is quiet. Music, storage, software, streaming, fitness, and premium app tiers can remain useful. The leak appears when the payment continues after the habit, project, or interest that justified it has ended. Search the last 60 days of transactions for repeating merchant names. Put every renewal into one of 3 columns: used weekly, used occasionally, or forgotten. Do not spend an hour debating every service. Cancel 1 item in the forgotten column, downgrade 1 occasional item, and leave the genuinely useful subscriptions alone. Then create a renewal appointment. Place a 15-minute review on the calendar 2 days after payday every 3rd month. Subscription control works better as a scheduled maintenance task than as a burst of guilt. The purpose is not to eliminate recurring services. It is to make every recurring charge earn its place again. For subscriptions you keep, calculate cost per use for one ordinary month. A $20 service used 20 times costs about $1 per use. The same service opened once costs $20 for that use. Cost per use is not a universal verdict, but it replaces vague attachment with a number you can compare against alternatives. Leak 3 is the frictionless extra. These are small add-ons that arrive beside something you already intended to buy. Priority delivery, insurance you did not evaluate, a larger size, an in-app upgrade, a service fee, or the product placed near the checkout button. The original purchase gives the extra charge cover. Review 5 recent purchases and separate the base price from everything added afterward. A $12 order with $4 of extras is not a $12 decision. It is a $16 decision assembled in pieces. When the total is divided across screens, the mind can approve each piece without reconsidering the whole. Use a final total pause. Before confirming any online order, say the complete amount once and compare it with the reason for buying. If the total changed by more than 10% after you began, remove one extra or wait 10 minutes. The pause is short because friction must be small enough to survive ordinary shopping. Watch for merchants that reveal cost in stages. A low headline price can acquire a platform fee, processing fee, protection plan, tip, and faster delivery option before payment. Take one screenshot of the first price and one of the final price. The difference is a useful category of its own. Money lost between interest and confirmation. Leak 4 is payday reward spending. The account balance rises, pressure falls, and a purchase begins to feel like proof that the difficult month is over. The reward may be deserved. The leak is timing. Several rewards compete for the same money before rent, savings, debt, and irregular bills have been given a place. Imagine a worker who plans one $70 dinner after payday. During the same weekend, a clothing order, drinks, and 2 taxis appear because the balance still looks generous. The problem is not the dinner. It is that the account balance is being read as permission, even though much of that money already has a future job. Give the reward a number before payday. Choose an amount that can be spent without negotiation after the essential transfers are complete. A planned reward protects enjoyment because it removes the anxious question that follows an undefined splurge. When the allowance is used, the celebration ends without requiring another moral argument. The first 48 hours after payday deserve special treatment because several delayed wants arrive together. Keep a list during the month instead of buying from memory on payday. When the money arrives, choose one item from the list after essential transfers. The waiting list separates a durable want from relief, seeking dressed as a reward. Leak 5 is the predictable surprise. Annual fees, vehicle maintenance, gifts, school costs, medical copays, travel, and seasonal bills do not happen every week. But they are not truly unexpected. They feel like emergencies because the monthly budget pretends that only monthly expenses exist. Look back 6 months and list every non-monthly expense above an amount that would disrupt an ordinary week. Add the total and divide it by 6. That monthly average is the beginning of a sinking fund. It will not predict every bill, but it converts several future shocks into one calm transfer made after payday. Start with the category that has the clearest date. If an annual fee of $120 is due in 6 months, move $20 each month. Precision matters less than beginning before the deadline. A partial reserve still reduces the amount that must be taken from food, savings, or a credit card later. Build a 12-month expense calendar with one line per month. Add birthdays, insurance, registration, travel, school dates, memberships, and maintenance you already expect. You do not need exact totals on the first pass. Dates reveal clusters, and clusters explain why some months repeatedly feel impossible even when everyday spending looks controlled. Now compare the 5 leaks without exaggeration. In an illustrative month, convenience premiums might add $90, forgotten subscriptions $30, checkout extras $25, unplanned payday rewards $100, and predictable surprises another $70. That is $315 of pressure created by different mechanisms. One blanket command to spend less cannot repair all 5. If those numbers are larger or smaller than yours, the method does not change. Replace every example with your own complete totals. Rank the categories by monthly pressure and by ease of repair. The best first target is often not the largest expense. It is the repeated expense you can change tomorrow without destabilizing housing, work, health, or family life. Build a 3-line leak map. Line 1 is the trigger, what happened immediately before the charge. Line 2 is the complete cost, including fees and extras. Line 3 is tomorrow's boundary. Keep the map factual. A useful note says, tired after work, $30 delivered, pick up only tomorrow. It does not say I am terrible with money. Here is a filled example. Trigger, salary arrived and the balance looked available. Complete cost, $146 across dinner, transport, and shopping. Boundary, transfer bills and savings first, then keep $80 in a separate reward account. The example names a sequence that can be changed instead of attacking the person who lived through it. A bad example would be, stop wasting money and become disciplined. It has no amount, no trigger, and no stopping point. Broad instructions sound serious because they demand everything. They fail under pressure because they do not tell your hand what to do when the payment screen appears. The related BookSell mini guide contains this leak map as a compact reading exercise. Use it after you understand the method, not as a substitute for looking at your own transactions. The purpose of the guide is to make the review easier to repeat without replaying a 20-minute explanation every time payday arrives. Next, put the boundaries in the right order. On payday, move money for fixed bills first. Move the planned amount for savings, debt, or reserves second. Set the reward amount third. What remains is the operating balance for food, transport, and ordinary life. Order matters, because a visible balance can otherwise pretend that committed money is available. A separate operating account can make this order visible. The main account receives income and holds scheduled obligations. The operating account receives the amount available for the week. This is not necessary for everyone, and extra accounts can add complexity. Use it only if seeing one honest spending balance is easier than mentally subtracting future bills all day. Add friction only where the leak occurs. Delete a saved card from the delivery app. Turn off one-click checkout. Move shopping apps away from the home screen, or require a 10-minute wait for extras. Do not make every payment difficult. Excessive friction is abandoned. Precise friction interrupts the moment that repeatedly costs you money. Choose one weekly money appointment, no longer than 20 minutes. Review the 5 leak categories. Record the largest avoidable premium, and change one boundary. Do not redesign the entire system each week. Stable rules create comparable evidence. Constant redesign creates activity without showing whether anything improved. And the appointment with two numbers: money prevented from leaking and money moved toward a future obligation. Avoid counting a canceled subscription as savings every month forever. Record the benefit once, then measure the actual account transfer or lower spending in later weeks. Honest measurement protects the plan from motivational arithmetic. Day 1 of the reset is observation. Review the last 7 days and label each discretionary transaction with one of the 5 leaks or planned. If a purchase does not fit, leave it unclassified. The goal is to see the shape of the week, not force every decision into a theory. Day 2 is cancellation. Find repeating charges and remove one that no longer supports your current life. Save the confirmation email or screenshot. The visible proof matters because vague intentions to review subscriptions later have no finish line. Day 3 is convenience planning. Identify the hour when tiredness usually becomes expensive. Decide the meal, route, pickup option, or spending ceiling before that hour. Put the decision where you will see it. The action should take less than 5 minutes. Day 4 is checkout friction. Review the last online purchase and calculate the base item, extras, shipping, and fees separately. Remove one saved payment method or enable a purchase notification. You are creating 1 second chance to notice the final total. Day 5 is payday order. Write the 4 destinations for the next paycheck: fixed bills, future obligations, planned reward, and operating money. Add the amounts before the money arrives. This turns payday from an emotional event into a sequence you have already chosen. Day 6 is the predictable surprise list. Choose one annual or seasonal cost, divide it by the months remaining, and schedule the first transfer. If the calculated amount is currently impossible, transfer a smaller honest amount and record the remaining gap. Avoiding the number does not make the date disappear. Day 7 is review. Compare the week with the previous one using 3 measures: convenience premiums paid, unplanned extras approved, and boundaries followed. Keep the boundary that worked. Shrink the one that was too demanding, and replace only the rule that failed for a clear reason. You may object that the amounts are too small to matter. Small charges are not automatically the enemy, and removing every pleasure is not the goal. The test is repetition plus regret. A $5 purchase used and enjoyed may be worth more than a $20 renewal you forgot. Judge the pattern, not the size alone. You may also have an income problem rather than a spending problem. If essential housing, food, transport, and debt payments already exceed reliable income, optimization cannot close the gap by itself. The leak review can still remove avoidable pressure, but the next step may require income support, creditor contact, benefits, or qualified debt advice. High-interest debt, repeated overdraft fees, missed essential bills, or pressure from collectors changes the priority. Protect food, housing, utilities, transport, and safety first. Avoid promises that a few small cancellations will solve a structural shortfall. A qualified nonprofit debt advisor or local financial counselor can help compare options without turning a general video into personal financial advice. Irregular work creates another difficulty. When income changes each month, build boundaries from the lowest dependable amount rather than the best recent month. Give additional income a rule before it arrives, such as a percentage for reserves, debt, current needs, and enjoyment. A flexible rule can be consistent even when the amount changes. Shared households need visible agreements. Do not secretly impose a system and expect another person to follow it. Choose one category, one joint limit, and one review time. Keep personal discretionary money separate when possible, so every small purchase does not become a negotiation about character or commitment. A missed day does not invalidate the reset. Resume at the next transaction or the next evening without doubling the work. Recovery is part of the system. A plan that cannot survive one difficult day will eventually become another abandoned subscription paid for with attention instead of money. Measure success by reduced surprise, not perfect restraint. You are looking for fewer charges that make you ask, when did that happen? A smaller convenience premium and one future bill that already has money waiting. Those are observable changes. Feeling disciplined is optional. The complete method is now simple. Name the 5 leaks. Find the one costing you the most regret or pressure. Write the trigger, complete cost, and next boundary. Put committed money in place before reading the remaining balance as permission. Review once a week, then return to the rest of your life. Tonight, do only the first useful version. Open the last 7 days of transactions. Mark one convenience premium, one renewal, one extra, one reward purchase, or one predictable surprise. Choose the largest repeat and write tomorrow's boundary in a sentence that contains an amount or a visible action. Do not wait for the next paycheck to become a different person. Use the next transaction to prove that one boundary can appear before one familiar charge. That is how the mystery ends. Not through shame, but through a sequence you can see and change. Use the link in the description to read the mini guide on BookSell.